Now, what if you could engineer a single prompt that helps you uncover alpha, build smarter trading bots, and think like a quant? And doing all of this without having to write a single line of code. Well, in this video, I'm handing you the exact prompt framework that we use at Chaos Theory to turn ChatGPT, or really any LLM, into a quant-grade trading assistant. Now, for those of you who don't know, we're Chaos Theory Institute. We're probability hunters and algorithmic architects in the finance space. So what we're going to do in this video today is reveal our approach to using AI to help us develop very robust trading strategies. Now, I think you'll find what I'm about to show you in this video absolutely fascinating. So essentially, we believe that financial analysis, or at least traditional financial analysis, is dead. So we're setting out to rewrite the rules of financial prediction. And that's in part what we're going to be talking about doing in this video today. So let's just jump in here. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the wrong way to do this. Now, unfortunately, you'll see some of the top ranking YouTube videos that talk about trading bot, prompt engineering, use AI prompts like create a trading bot strategy to help me turn $100 into $1,000 or $10,000 or $1 million and so on. Now, I don't want to waste your time or my time explaining why this won't work, but this approach just leads to very generic responses that will just take you nowhere. So essentially what we need to do instead is we need to create a more structured approach with very clear objectives and increased specificity. So I'm going to give you the exact prompt template right now to work with that will help you create much better trading bots or really any type of financial automation. Now, I've posted this template over on our site at Chaos Theory Institute. You can just click the link in the description and then copy and paste it. You don't need to provide your email or anything like that. It's all public. Okay, so let's begin by giving our AI a system prompt. Now, I already have this all baked in within our site over at Chaos Theory, but I'll just show you what I have going on behind the scenes here. So as you can see, I say you are a professional trading strategist and market narrative analyst specializing in thematic investing within and then here you can just insert whatever sector you're interested in. So for example, I'm going to put biotech here, but you could put anything. You could put AI, defense, fintech, and so on. I want you to create a clear, actionable stock trading strategy that takes into consideration the following. Okay, so now we can get into the actual user prompt. So here I'm going to write, I'm interested specifically in small cap and emerging biotech opportunities. I prefer to invest in companies with a market capitalization of between, here we'll put X and Y. So I'm going to type in 5 million to something like 500 million. My investing risk tolerance is somewhere here. We can write low, moderate, or high. I'll type in high here. And I'm looking for asymmetric investment strategies that offer significant upside potential over and then here we can put in the short term, midterm, or long term. I'll put in midterm, long term here. And then I go on to discuss my specific areas of interest. Now, you might already know your specific areas of interest within your own desired sector, but you also might not know yet. And so what we're looking for here are companies who are working in sectors or industries that have some type of kind of it factor. Now, essentially, they have a very strong narrative at the moment, or they're poised to have a very strong narrative in the near future. So what I suggest you do here is that you break away from your initial prompt here, and then you enter a second prompt asking for insights into what these strong narratives might be. So essentially, if you have any blind spots, this process could help you put some interesting new ideas onto your radar. So I'm just going to break away for a moment here, and I'm just going to write the following. List 5 to 10 current or emerging themes, narratives, or storylines that are gaining momentum within and then we'll put the sector here again, so I'll just type in biotech. Now, tell me what is driving the growth of the narrative and evaluate the narrative's maturity status. So for example, is it an early, mid, or late stage narrative based on saturation and market enthusiasm? So here now what I'll do is I'll just run this, and then from this list, I'm just going to use these 4, which I'm personally optimistic about, and then I'm going to copy and paste these over into my original prompt. So essentially this allows us to drill into a very specific sector and then break that sector down into these kind of sub verticals. Okay, so next we're going to talk about strategy type. So here I'm going to write, my preferred strategy type is, and then here we can put whatever we want. So for example, we could put momentum-based, value investing, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, mixed, and so on. But next what we're going to do is we're going to write this. We're going to write, however, I'd like you to provide me guidance on picking the optimal strategy based on the objectives that I outlined above. Please provide any key indicators or data points to monitor, fundamental, technical, or other, to help me achieve my objective. And then we're going to write this. In your response, please provide a nuanced analysis that goes beyond surface level recommendations, incorporating your market thesis or hypothesis for your approach in the, and again, we'll put the sector here, I'll put biotech. Next, we'll write methodologies for identifying breakthrough technologies with market disruption potential. Next, we'll say provide 2 to 3 historical precedents supporting the strategy for me to look at. This is essential for me because as an automation developer, it's really helpful for me to see a real world example of how this played out in the past. Now, this will just give me so much insight into how to build my automation and catch growth signals before the market catches on. Next, I'm going to write quantitative screening methodologies to get targeted exposure to small cap and pre-revenue biotech companies. So here you could just swap out pre-revenue with growing revenue, near profitability, consistently profitable, or mature cash cow company. Okay, now next here we have qualitative assessment frameworks, and this step is really important because not all trading automations can be fully automated. So for example, at Chaos Theory Institute, many of the automations that we build are actually human in the loop automations. And that's just because bots are very good at doing some things and then less equipped to do other things. And I think this is a really, really essential point. I think as a quant, it's really important to know where your strengths as a human are, but then also be able to recognize your limitations. And the same is true with bots. You have to be able to see where their strengths are and where their limitations are. So that I'm not speaking in abstractions here, bots are really good at something called computational parallelism, and that simply just means that they can do many things at the same time. So for instance, I could program a bot to say, hey look, I've shortlisted these 50 small cap biotech companies. Now go out and fetch the price, volume, and RSI of each stock and then store it in a database, and then go out and do that again every minute. Now, as a human, I just obviously can't do that. The bot has something that is known as a machine advantage. So I pass those types of tasks off to the bot, and I focus on doing what I'm good at as a human, which tends to be a little bit more on the nuanced side of things. So when I run this prompt, you'll see why this is important, why I ask for this in just a moment. And then we're going to ask for any potential catalysts for value appreciation. And again, understanding catalysts is enormously valuable when building trading automations because essentially we need to find ways to monitor for these catalysts. And then lastly, I ask for comprehensive risk assessment techniques and strategies that optimize risk-reward ratios in the biotech sector. And then I end by saying I'm looking for a strategic approach that balances the high risk, high reward nature of small cap biotech investments with disciplined research-driven investment principles. Okay, so when I run this now, I get this response. Now, I don't want to focus too much on the response right now because I don't want this video to get too long, but essentially the AI will give me everything that I asked for above. And as you can see, I'm given some really important data here. Here you'll see I have the KPIs and the case studies of the precedents from the past and so on. Now, as a quant, the interesting thing here is that I'm given a mix of quantitative and qualitative insights or suggestions. So for example, doing things like monitoring cash runway or burn rate or insider buys is easily automated. Doing other things like looking at clinical trial results, drug pipeline stage, and so on can be a bit more challenging. Now, of course, there are sites like Biopharm Catalyst, clinicaltrials.gov, the FDA calendar, and so on. But again, the data can be just a little bit harder to parse. Also, a big part of an automation like this would be to vet the team behind the company. Now, you'd want to look for teams or people on teams with previous successful exits and things like that. And again, often this just kind of requires a human in the loop within the automation, at least to a small degree, or even sometimes and often actually just for temporary involvement, just to get the data from the harder to parse data sources. But it's all possible to do. Now, at this point, you'd simply translate these findings into logic, and then you'd start back testing and then deploying the automation on a paper trading account to test out the logic's reliability. Now, I don't want this video to go on too much longer, but if you're interested in learning how to build out something like this, then be sure to head over to Chaos Theory Institute today to learn more. We teach people how to build really complex trading algorithms without code. So if you're interested in learning how to build something like this, then be sure to check us out by clicking on the link in the description below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, as we're constantly publishing new content designed to help make you a better trader or investor. So for example, we have this short documentary which we recently created where we show you how Jim Simons built an algorithmic trading bot to become one of the richest people in the world. I think you'll find it really, really interesting. So again, if you're interested in learning more, then be sure to head over to our channel and be sure to follow along. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks for stopping by.